Till now we have seen that what are the distinctions between secular art and religious art, how Indian art can be differentiated from European art. After that we see that from which period we have seen noticeable architecture and why. And in our last lecture we have discussed that why right from the Moro period we have seen the architecture. Okay, then the most noticeable architecture is Buddhist stupa that begin in Moro period. Okay, then what is stupa? Stupa is nothing but a burial ground of the bodily remains of Buddha or any of the utensils used by Buddha. Okay, then what is the stupa? Stupa is a burial ground where the bodily remains of Buddha or any utensils used by him during his lifetime are buried. Okay, then above them, the particular structure is erected, and that erected structure is known as stupa. Okay, the question is that whether stupa existed before Moro period or not. Yes, stupa existed before Moro period. Then why it is said that stupa began only from Moro period? Because stupa as a particular structure, stupa as a particular architectural form came into prevalence right from the Moro period. Before Moro period, we have not seen any particular architectural form with the name of with this name or with this name. Okay, in Moro period, what happened? What happened with the arrival of Buddha, that after the death of Buddha is venerated among people. Okay, his Ashoka erected different pillars. Ashoka erected different stupas. Okay, that in Moro period, Buddha is venerated, Buddha is worshipped, and his bodily remains were worshipped. Okay, that's why with the arrival of Buddha, with the popularity of the Buddha, with the acceptance of Buddha in society among people, stupa came into regarded as a particular architectural form in right from the Moro period. Okay, then if we are asked that give an assessment of the development of Buddhist stupa. Okay, Buddhist stupa, in case of, we can connect this answer in two ways. One is ideology and one is architectural architecture. Ideology is two type, Hinayan and Mahayan. Okay, in Hinayan what happened, they thought Buddha as too sublime. Okay, they thought Buddha as too godly. Okay, that's why they prevented representing Buddha in human form. Okay, instead of that, what did they do? They put some symbols as a representation of Buddha. Okay, that's why in Buddhist stupa, which are related with Hinayan Buddhism, we have not seen any noticeable sculpture, because they prevented representing Buddha in human form. They represented Buddha only in aniconic form. Okay, but with the decline of Hinayan Mahayan, or with the decline of Theravada Buddhism, what happened? Mahayan Buddhism came into being, and in Mahayan Buddhism, what happened? They represented Buddha in human form. They represented Buddha human form. They represented Buddha with ornamentation. They represented Buddha different forms. Stories from Jataka were represented in stupa. Okay, these are the main things. These are the development of stupa with ideology. How stupa developed with ideology? In Hinayan Mahajana, Buddha was represented only in symbol. Okay, Buddha in an aniconic form of Buddha was represented in Hinayan Mahajana. Okay, Buddha in human form was not represented in Hinayan Mahajana. that is why Buddhist stupa related to Hinian Mahajan was not so noticeable in from the architecture or sculptural point of view, but the Buddhist stupa related to Mahayan Buddhism was very ornamental because they represented Buddha in human form with ornamentation or in different forms. This is the development of Buddhist stupa related with ideology, and another is the architectural technology or architectural tactic. It is early phase and later phase. In early phase, Bharut, Chansi, and Amravati. Okay, in these phases, what happened? Generally, stupas were very simple. Okay, sometimes they were wooden. Mostly stupas were made of wood. Okay, in later stupa, Charnath, Nalanda, even in case of Amravati also, in later what happened? Buddhist stupa, simple Buddhist stupa became ornamental and complex. Wooden structure of Buddhist stupa were replaced by stone. Okay, and another thing is that cardinal gateways, 4 gateways were in first stage. What happened? Buddhist stupa was very simple. It was only just a burial ground. Okay, in later phase, what happened? Four gateways were added to the 4 different cardinal points to the stupa. Stupas were made of stone. Various ornamentations were added to the stupa. These were differentiation development. This is the development of stupa with the architectural from the architectural point of view, or with the it is a development with the advancement of the time. Okay, then now in next chapter we will discuss how stupa represents symbolism in Indian culture.